Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters.
Yeah, it said it right there on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just reading right off the script, and now there's nothing else to say, so this is where I shut up. Eddie versus PNC. Apologies there for the little awkward transition. Our featured match of the day. We have PNC, who's at the bottom of the standings, Eddie at the very top. This is an opportunity for PNC to make some big ground on the division, because you don't want to just win. You also want the people ahead of you to lose. Unfortunately for PNC, that means literally everybody in this division. He is the dubious owner of owning last place exclusively. And Eddie is tied for first place with Strife Crow, but we'll see after what today says.
Yeah, and PNC, you know, it's a mixture of maybe the wrong meta reads, but because he did bring Mech Hunter to week 1, which ended up not being that great of a choice. But also, even for him, self-admittedly, not the best play and not the highest dedication. So we'll have to see if he can turn that around now as we're almost at the halfway point of Season 1. So if there's ever going to be a time to turn around, it kind of has to be now.
All right, well, let's get to know both of these players a little bit better before we go more in-depth with our featured match for today.
My name is Eddie Liu. First, I thought this group looked like the harder group, but after analyzing and looking at everybody, I think my group is easier, and I think I have a good chance. I am very looking forward to all the games in Grandmaster being streamed, because last year I tried streaming a little bit, just to get used to the camera and just to make sure that I don't feel fully comfortable, but it feels like a tournament style where I know someone's looking at me, and regardless, I still try to keep making the plays what I feel is the right. It's not like what other people think is the right. I think the X factor for myself is that I hate playing aggro decks, I would say. I'm a very control/anti-control player. I think the last 2 years I haven't bring a single aggro deck to a tournament. If I'm playing control deck, I'd rather outgrind my opponent in resources. Honestly, at this point I just want to make worlds first, but first step to win world is to be way better than your group. So I constantly judge myself, oh, is this right? Is what I'm doing correct? And it means a lot. It means a lot to me that if other people are agreeing what I do and what I think.
My name is Francisco Fraile Montas, and my battle tag is PNC. Beating Grandmasters for me means that all the hard work that I put in last years and all the time that I spent the game is paying off, so very happy about it. When I'm not traveling for events, when I'm at home, usually play a lot of Hearthstone. I try to take the weekends off so I can enjoy different stuff, but yeah, during the weeks, mostly just wake up, play Hearthstone, just Hearthstone and Hearthstone. My favorite hobby outside of Hearthstone is watching my football team play, I'll say, going to the stadium or just at home with friends, and river play. What makes me unique as a player, I'll say, is just bringing very complicated decks to tournament. It's mostly combo decks that people usually don't play, and just do well with it. My personal goals this year will be to earn as much money as I can, of course, and yeah, just improve as a player and play the best I can.
All right, Eddie versus PNC. You heard a little bit just about their thoughts on divisions, about themselves. It seems like they're just generally very modest guys. They're not going to go out there and just say I think I'm better than everyone on this field, or I've earned this, I deserve this. I'm going to try to play my best and improve. And I think that's kind of the starting mentality that you should have as an aspiring top-level player. Yeah. If you're not trying to downplay other people's achievements and more importantly, just focus on your own, you'll find rapid improvement as opposed to just constantly comparing yourself to say Hunter Ace and realizing how woefully incapable you are, relatively speaking.
Yeah, the only person that can really just compare themselves to Hunter Ace and actually get meaningful results out of it is probably Saiyan. Because he was the only one who had kind of a similar level of success last year. Now, PNC and Eddie both had kind of the same path last year. They both traveled to a decent amount of tour stops. PNC was one of the only Latin American players who did travel all across the world to very many tour stops, and they both had a good amount of success. Eddie maybe a slight edge in the tour stop success. I don't think there was many players that outside of Saiyan and Hunter Ace or Casey, that Eddie was behind in like amount of top 16s or top 8s and tour stops, but still has a lot of room to make a name for himself. Even though he's in Grandmasters, he's a player that even after talking to him still feels like he's not as well known. He even changed his name because he said Sohyun, which was his previous name, was hard to say, not as memorable because it had numbers at the end. So he went with good old simple Eddie, and he's trying to make a name for himself as Eddie.
I don't think having numbers after your name is a bad thing.
Well, for the history of Hearthstone, no, it's definitely not.
It actually sometimes leads to a world championship. We're getting a little distracted. Let's go ahead and talk about the deck lists. We have Eddie with his Warrior coming up here. He chose to cut a little bit of his early game with like 1 Eternium Rover, for example, 1 Augmented Elic, 1 Weapons Project, 1 Acolyte of Pain. But he will instead perhaps be more incentivized to play aggressively onto the board if he's given that opportunity. The reason why we even featured Eddie's deck list is because he has the more modern forms of tech like a Geppetto Joybuzz, which is starting to see more play just as a card draw engine, and more importantly as a temple tool later in the game. If you're able to pull out, say, the Omega Devastator for 1 mana, or, you know, even just having like a 1 mana Zilliax to help squeeze in a much better play, like you get like a Bulldozer off of a Omega Assembly, and then you just like attach a 1 mana Zilliax. I used to kind of sleep on that, like, oh, Zilliax added a 1 mana 1/1. That's not that great. But then you just add like the Divine Shield lifesteal rush aspect of it. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, he has a little bit less wiggle room to go aggressive because of the 1 Augmented Elic, but very similar in style to last game with Raze versus Zilay, with just slight differences on Eddie's side compared to Raze. But taking a look at PNC's list, this is card for card the exact same as what we just saw from Zilay.
Right.
Even as far as the secondary and tertiary decks, also card for card the same. So it is the very slow, doesn't have eviscerates, doesn't have preparations, doesn't have saps, lacks the ability to remove, lacks the ability to fight super aggressively in the early game. And PNC, did he throw away Vendetta?
It was super fast.
I think he did throw away Vendetta.
But we'll see the final mulligan in the end. Vendetta tends to be a card that is, in my opinion, it's a lot like Backstab, where it's situational if you want to keep it. Backstab is a lot worse against Warrior than it is against other aggressive decks. But the idea is that you're trying to get this free card, but keeping it by yourself doesn't accelerate your game plan necessarily. Rogues would keep Backstab in aggressive Magic because they just don't want it to get snowballed on, right? By like, say, like the Token Druids or the Zoo Warlocks. But against Warrior, if you're keeping Vendetta, you need to have at least minimum another card that can activate it for 0 mana, like a Blake Fox or a Henchman Burglar. But that still doesn't solve the case where you just need to snowball your early game advantage.
Yeah.
So I can see a case for not keeping Vendetta.
Vendetta still has a very high win rate against Warriors.
As a mulligan win rate?
As a mulligan win rate, yeah.
But what's the percentage time it's kept?
A good amount.
I guess there's probably some way to solve it mathematically, where it's like, here are the chances that you get Blink Fox and Henchman Burglar early on in your mulligan. Therefore, this is the amount of percentage time that you should keep Vendetta.
If you keep Vendetta and no other cards, then it's pretty likely that by the time turn 3 rolls around, that you've drawn either a Blink Fox or Henchman Thug.
So you draw around 6 to 7, maybe 8 cards if you're lucky, with like a Novice Engineer to accelerate that.
With four activators in your deck.
So you draw about a little bit less than the 4th of your deck with 4 activators. I mean, that seems like pretty decent odds, but at the same time, it's kind of like what I'm saying. Like, PNC only has 1 copy of Augmented Elic. You know, he only has 1 copy of Eternium Rover. He's not exactly like utilizing it on too many minions early on.
Very true.
I'm taking a devil's advocate scenario. I don't personally have a horse in this.
I thought I was the devil's advocate. Oh.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You're the dissenting opinion, so you are the devil's advocate. That being said, look at Eddie drawing the Augmented Elic right on cue.
Yeah.
And then he can play Town Crier to immediately collect the 3rd Rusher in his deck. He'll get a head on board. He'll shuffle 2 more. Well, does he want to swing at the weapon? That's actually another question worth asking. If he swings the weapon, he loses the ability to use his 3 damage to eliminate the board state.
Yeah, that's true. What is he specifically worried about on turn 5 from Spirit of the Shark that he wouldn't be able to answer with a Militia Commander?
It's maybe not necessarily that he can't answer it, but that he can't clean up everything. I think the number one thing you're worried about is the Miscreant situation, because Miscreant will give him 4 lackeys plus a lot more lackeys. The worst case scenario is like a prep Miscreant situation. Not that PNC could because it doesn't have prep, but you activate Miscreant, you play Faceless Lackey, you just have a giant board and you don't have a way to answer it with Dynamatic.
Okay.
I'm okay with not swinging here. I like this. Now, PNC has a very nice setup here with Evil Cable Rat to get 2 lackeys and SI7 agent. Although he doesn't clear off all the board.
I hope you like my invention.
So he favors drawing deeper into his deck over the lackeys.
Draws the bomb.
Draws another shark.
Whoa. Oh, maybe he's looking for Edwin. Eddie thinks it's
I hope
Edwin.
you like my invention.
He's like, oh no.
It's true. If you get able to draw Edwin right now, you pretty much have a chance to just win the game, like a strong chance, because it's unlikely your opponent has the Brawl, which Eddie only has 1 copy of, and he doesn't have anywhere near enough armor for a Shield Slam.
I just saw Eddie mouth the words 14-14. So
yeah,
he's got to be happy to see this. Well, I mean, not super happy because his board's now gone, but
relative to the worst case, I think this is a very nice setup for your Eddie. In fact, look and see if there's a clean Dynamatic setup. I think in this case, you might just go for a Rusher instead and save the Dynamatic.
Yeah, it is not a clean Dynamatic setup, even if you attack in with the Town Crier. It'd be still 6 health on board. But yeah, Wrench Caliber into the SI7 agent. Militia Commander over the Spear of the Shark, and poke the Novice Engineer. Clear board, shuffle another bomb in. Well, I guess a bomb in because PNC drew the only one that he had. I guess he wants to do Ziliax? It's more mana efficient?
Ziliax is more efficient, but again, I think that card is so important for swinging the board later in the game.
Yeah.
That I'd like to hold on to it if I can. Like, you don't have to play Ziliax here. And Eddie's even torn over the decision too. It's not exactly a clean cut, but it seems like he favors the Ziliax right here. And I mean, part of it is that backstab was used and SI7 agent. It's harder to remove.
Why did he take the damage with the Wrench Caliber?
Why? Because he wants to keep the Divine Shield on the Ziliax.
Okay. Is that worth it?
Well, turn 6 is a double 3 opportunity for rogues, so they could play whatever card they drew, like a lackey, and then they could go for Evil Miscreant. And what I'm curious about is what Eddie is doing this as a setup for. Because when he has Blastmaster Boom in his hand for 7, he's trying to set up for his best 6 into 7, which just makes me wonder why he played Ziliax as opposed to Militia Commander.
I guess if he thinks that he's going to get a dagger hit out most of the time.
Right. Maybe
we heard Raze talk about how like it's all about being able to aggro him down. He's got Blastmaster Boom in hand. So, like 3 extra damage, like taking 3 extra damage on himself to deal 3 extra damage to his opponent. I'm pretty sure you're taking that every time in this matchup. So
yeah, mana efficiency, playing aggressive,
and this deck
seemed to be okay.
PNC's not an aggro deck. Yes,
right. He has no eviscerates. He doesn't have.
He has Waggle Pick and Leroy, but that's like the extent of his burst.
Right.
Outside of like Spear of the Shark, Life Drinker.
Yeah, he doesn't have like preparation to help these big swings either.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But staying ahead on board.
Yeah, no, that's probably the primary thing. Is like Militia Commander has 2 attack and Ziliax has 3, and it's more mana efficient. It could be as simple as that. As the reason why Eddie chose to go for the Ziliax in that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes in Hearthstone, going back to your fundamentals is important. people are often like looking for deep meaning in plays, and don't get us wrong. Sometimes when you watch like the Hunter Race and the Psycho and the Just Saiyans play, it's like they are thinking like 3-4 levels deep.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, staying core to like your fundamentals is what makes you a good player, and that's often the selling point of players like Ike and Zoe. Just sticking to good, solid core Hearthstone concepts, or even card game concepts as a whole.
Yeah, and double treasure.
Double treasure, but no way to answer the 9 power on, well, the 7 power on board with the Dr. Boom.
He could go for like double life drinker.
Interesting.
I wonder.
It would heal him back up to nearly full.
There's also the possibility of PNC just power loading the board and then going for Sea Giant.
That's true as well.
So if he plays Evil Cable Rat, he gets 2 lackeys.
Well, actually, he would never have enough board space for Sea Giant. Because he has to play four. Well, he would, but he wouldn't be able to like fully load the board.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking for 0 mana Sea Giant. I was thinking more of just like a really cheap one.
Yeah.
And then you go wide, and then you start trading to the Boombot, so that way the lackeys can absorb the Boombot damage.
True. Yeah.
Quickly.
Well, no, because if he Evil Cable Rats and picks up a 1 mana lackey, he spent 3 mana and only developing 2 minions.
Well, what if he gets Faceless Lackey?
Then his board's full because he has Spirit of the Shark.
Oh, you're right.
So Sea Giant wasn't able to come down there, but.
I mean, he still it was able to come down, just maybe not in the ideal setup.
Yeah. He would have had to just play it, right? Ooh.
Well, he could even just let's say he played the Evil Cable Rat and got like double Cold Ball Lackey. Obviously, a very very low percentage chance that happens, but you could still squeeze in Sea Giant with that play. It's like all just possibilities. Dr. Boom Mad Genius comes to the hand here for Eddie, so that would be a slowdown play. His alternative is just to go double Militia Commander here, which I don't think is actually that bad. I think the most important thing is pushing damage with this Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we prioritize like shield block, shield slam, because it's kind of the same concept as just using Militia Commander.
Yeah.
Imagine Militia Commander here is just like a fireball that goes to the minion.
A 2/5 is pretty valuable because it's pretty tough for rogues to remove. Like Vendetta doesn't answer it, Wagglepig doesn't answer it. It's probably going to get in. Like the second Militia Commander, the one that survives if you double Militia Commander and trade in one.
Defend the gates. Defend the gates.
Aggression, violence,
Speed.
and momentum. There's a lot going on here, and PNC looks like he's under the gun once again. Xeric's Crown, potentially away from the climb back, or is he going to Hail Mary with the Wondrous Wand?
What could he find in his deck? Ziliax's heal, 0 mana Ziliax combined with 0 mana like Hench Clan Burglar. Oh, gross.
Double the Pagels.
Get those out of here.
You have a 75% chance to draw an extra card now.
Get him out.
Myra Rot Spring. I mean, 3 mana summon 2 4/2s isn't terrible. It's not the high impact that you're looking for.
And he's just looking, wait, what?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Now PNC kind of running out of time to make a decision. If he plays Wondrous Wand now, he doesn't even have time to react to what he's drawing.
He might have to just play a Life Drinker to stay alive. Eddie is 4 damage away. Clockwork Goblin can shuffle another bomb. Dr. Boom Mad Genius might even be able to pick up Hero Power to have high impact right
Yeah.
now. Delivery Drone. War Gear.
Ooh.
Spark Drill actually has some merit too, because it helps you eliminate a lot of the board state, which seems like going to be the case here, because PNC actually did assemble a pretty threatening board. There's 14 power on the other side.
Yeah.
So, War Gear versus Spark Drill.
Okay then.
Spark Drill gives Eddie also an opportunity to spend his mana better, because it gives him the 1/1s with the Rush, so he can piece together the ideal removal. Versus War Gear is just attack one thing, most likely.
Yeah. attack one thing, but maybe survive? I don't know. That's pretty tough. Well, gear it is.
Oh.
Eddie's saying,
Zap on the other side.
yeah, Eddie also making one trade because you know, you could just put him to 4 and say, okay, if you draw a bomb, then I win. But Eddie knows that because he had delivery drone, there's a 50% chance he gets a damage hero power next turn. So 6 is like 50% of the time the same as sub 5 with bombs. Willing to make the trade.
PNC has an opportunity here to actually stabilize a little bit. When I say a little bit, it's just barely. Because if he plays, he can play Sea Giant and Life Drinker this turn. I wonder if he can squeeze in a Waggle Pick in some capacity. I don't think he has enough board space to do that because the Faceless Lackey discounts the Sea Giant to 2, which would mean it'd be 3 mana for Faceless Lackey plus Sea Giant, and then Waggle Pick and Life Drinker are 8 mana remaining, so that'd be 11 total. But it would have worked out really nicely. The exception is if he picks up a 2 mana minion that discounts things. Okay. Definitely want to trade it to here. I kind of want a Life Drinker and just Edwin.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Wow, that would be a disastrous scenario. Okay, Life Drinker,
Okay.
Edwin.
Just a slight pause.
And he's like, okay. Nice bookends here for the 8/8.
Plays around Betrayal.
Goodness. Plays around Betrayal.
Ooh, so he could Omega Devastator the Edwin War Gear and trade over the Sea Giant.
Yeah. Or even just
pick apart the board, maybe.
Yeah, pick apart the board. Like the important thing of stopping the aggression here is that PNC can't really like set up a 3-turn lethal, because this is what it was, a 3-turn lethal setup. And Eddie can pick it apart. He can Omega Devastator, train into a minion, Clockwork Goblin, train into another minion, hero power, and eliminate the minion.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
Alternatively, he could do exactly what you're talking about, which is train into just a giant and then try to kill it.
Yeah. I kind of like Omega Devastator, Zap, Clockwork Goblin.
Yeah. I think I favor that too.
Because then you make use of the Zap hero power, you keep War Gear to be able to use it as removal next turn.
Yeah, War Gear might actually be best used as a separate body instead of removal now that it has Rush.
Yeah.
Interesting that Eddie ended up killing the Sea Giant. I would slightly argue that Edwin is the better removal because you give the opportunity to utilize things like Shadow Step.
He's already used both Shadow Steps.
Okay, well, Waggle Pick effects, I guess.
Yeah, Waggle Pick.
The idea is that you give Edwin the ability to once again threaten you, even though PNC has lost a shark, for example.
Yeah.
Just food for thought. I don't know if it makes a huge difference here.
Also, a fringe case scenario like Edwin can be evolved, not that you'd want to, and Sea Giant can't.
Fair enough. Yeah, they pick up Transmute.
Yeah, the Witchy Lackey.
The Witchy Lackey. Yeah, that's much more common. I was thinking like, how do you evolve? It's a Shaman card generally. It's the Henge Camp Burglar. PNC with the Sea Giant play seems like he's just gonna go aggressive. I'm kind of wondering again how long he's gonna hold on to things like this Wondrous Wand. And is PNC gonna trade here? He's giving Eddie a magnetic ability. Eddie's on a draw to win. He's at 8 damage to War Gear.
Oh, wow. And draws Omega Assembly.
Oh, my goodness. This could just be the game.
Yeah. Could get Spring Rocket. I mean, he could put another bomb in.
But what's nice, too, is this Vicious Scrap Hound means that Eddie can also gain life.
Yep.
So he can magnetize this, or even simply use the Dynamatic.
Harrison to get rid of the Sea Giant.
Yeah.
Very smart.
This is even better. Sea Giant is now way too expensive.
I can never tell if Eddie's happy with his plays or sad with it.
Well, oh, he drew the bomb, so it's...
Oh, he drew the bomb.
He gets lead. That's why he was shaking his head.
Yeah.
He saw it seconds before we did, and Eddie with a back-to-back banger, able to end game number 1.
Yeah.
I was like, what is he so like? What is he tossing his hand in the air for?
Yeah, I was like,
that was a good play.
That was a fantastic play.
Yeah.
Like, he spotted it quickly, cleared off the board, sticks to Harrison, draws a card. But it was because he saw the bombs. Yeah, a little bit different of a game than what we saw from like Race versus Soleil. It wasn't as much aggression from Eddie, but you can see even when all the pieces aren't there from the Warrior, like there was only, what, 4 bombs shuffled into the deck total. He didn't even get the best Blastmaster Boom.
Yeah.
As long as the pieces are there in some capacity, as long as throughout the mid game you find Dr. Boom, Blastmaster Boom sometime, and find Dr. Boom Mad Genius sometime, you have a really good shot.
Time is on your side.
Yes.
And time is not on PNC's side, not only in this series or game in the series, but also in the standings race. Eddie currently in prime position to once again be in first place in Division A. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out what these players choose to adapt in this best of 3.
Hearthstone Masters. Today, we're going to share one of the biggest changes coming to Hearthstone in 2019, an entirely new competitive format called Specialist. Specialist will be the default competitive format for Hearthstone Masters. From online Masters qualifiers to live Masters Tour events to the pinnacle of competition, Hearthstone Grandmasters. Ready to learn how the new Specialist format works? Let's dive right in. In this new competitive format, players select 3 30-card decks to bring to a Specialist tournament. The catch? All decks must be from the same class. In this regard, Specialist is a major departure from most other competitive formats. Amongst every player's 3 Specialist decks, one is designated as the primary deck. The player's other 2 decks are designated as secondary and tertiary decks. There are no special limitations placed on a player's primary deck aside from regular Hearthstone deck construction rules. However, a player's secondary and tertiary decks must share at least 25 cards in common with their primary deck. In other words, secondary and tertiary decks must mirror the primary deck with up to 5 cards swapped out. It is important to point out that duplicate cards count when comparing to a primary deck. For example, if you want to include 2 copies of Twilight Drake in your secondary deck, and there are no copies of Twilight Drake in your primary deck, then you must spend 2 swaps to include both cards. Unique or not, if a card isn't in your primary deck, it counts towards the 5-card difference limit. A player's primary deck is important for another reason. Whenever a new match starts, both its players must begin by piloting their primary deck. Only after the first game concludes can you choose to swap into your secondary or tertiary deck. You do not announce which of your decks you will be using in the next game, and you do not have to swap. After every game, this process repeats, allowing players to swap or stay until the match concludes. Importantly, you can swap to any of your decks between games, primary, secondary, or tertiary, including returning to your primary deck if you have previously swapped out of it. And those are all the rules for Specialist, Hearthstone's new official competitive format. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and start brewing your own primary, secondary, and tertiary decks to get a jump start on the new format and innovate like the pros.
Let the battle begin!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters. Eddie currently up 1-0 over PNC. PNC, his struggles continue, but the series isn't over yet. And at the end of the day, if he's able to get a win with 2 straight victories, then he'll have the last laugh, at least for this week of Grandmasters. Do we have confirmation on what their deck's switching to here, TJ?
Nope.
Okay.
I didn't hear it. I left.
I will assume that PNC is going to also, once again, switch to the Barista Lynchen, Grual the Shark, Harrison Jones, and Geppetto Joybud. We'll get confirmation in just
I
a
did
sec.
get confirmation.
Okay. And then for Eddie,
He's stayed with his
primary deck. Doesn't really need to do too much.
Well,
I do think that having, an extra Turning Rover and Town Crier would be nice.
now his secondary deck, I think, is honestly pretty good. It cuts Omega Assembly, which can sometimes be a hard card to use against Rogue. It cuts Weapon Project and Harrison Jones, which, if you know your opponent's going to switch to the tertiary deck, he's getting rid of Wagglepick.
You're right.
And it adds Augmented Elec, Omega Devastator, Brawl, Sephorian Bomber, and Mojo Master Zihi. Those seem like fantastic cards against PNC's tertiary deck. The problem with it is, if PNC's just like, haha, I'm going to queue my primary deck instead.
Right.
Then your matchup win rate goes down significantly. So you can gain a few percentage points if he queues his tertiary deck by switching your secondary, or you could lose like 10, maybe even 15 percentage points if PNC is like, I'm staying on my primary. So I think Eddie decides that the risk is not worth it and stays with his primary. But I just wanted to point it out, it's a possibility.
Yeah, that's where a little bit of the mind games comes in, and I think Eddie feels comfortable not having those extra percentage points, given how smoothly it's gone so far. Not even just this series, but also over the course of Grandmasters. We've had, prior to this week, at least according to our statistics initially, it seemed like Warrior only beat Rogue one time. Now, I feel like I've been just seeing the Warriors crush the Rogues this week. And all the Rogues were very confident that they were going to be good against the Warrior. The exception, of course, being Muzzy, being able to absolutely destroy every Warrior in his path.
Yeah. Just demolish Warriors. Just straight up eviscerate them.
I mean, we also saw Monsanto beat Nalgadon yesterday, and that was it was pretty one-sided when Monsanto got like the things going. But there was also some games where it was like Warrior was about to close out, and Rogue almost brought it back from nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm still willing to go back to the idea that this matchup feels fairly even, and it's largely influenced by the 4 or 5 core cards tech cards that you choose to.
Yeah, I think it's almost 100% influenced by the tech cards, and I think it's influenced by the tertiary deck as well. I like the main deck having the Eviscerates and no Sea Giants. And I like the tertiary deck to have Togwaggle schemes. I think that gives you a higher win percentage than Discrete package. Plot twist, Dan.
Plot twist, Swipe, Whispering Woods. Yeah, 2 of these cards are much stronger than the other.
Yeah, Plot twist and Swipe definitely stronger than Whispering Woods. I agree.
The art for Plot twist is sick, so is Whispering Woods.
I wonder.
Swipe is actually pretty good too. It's all really good art animation here.
I have been playing a Druid in the classic WoW beta, and that's what it looks like when I swipe. At least that's how.
That was TJ on Twitter the other night.
And those scared plebs that I'm swiping are professional Hearthstone players.
Yeah. Does PNC use the Vendetta in this spot or the Backstab? I think you probably could use Backstab.
Yeah.
Vendetta is basically the upgraded version of Backstab at this point.
Vendetta is more for the Elix and Clockwork Goblins.
Speaking of which.
Yeah. But you can kind of start to see, well, I guess the swipe changes things, but you can kind of start to see what I mean with Vendetta, where even though like you need a card to activate it, it's so good because imagine if like PNC had Vendetta in the last game, like he would have just dealt with the first Clockwork Goblin and never taken that extra damage.
Unity, precision, perfection.
Yep, well, PNC picks up Evil Cable Rat, so finally gets a lackey that he can use with the Heist Baron Togwaggle.
So with this hand, I think PNC's game plan needs, not needs to be, but might go towards Heist Baron Togwaggle, Shadow Step. It's a very big investment because you're taking a 5/5 off the board. You're giving up a ton of tempo. But with the way his hand is, I don't know if a Wonder Swan is enough. Yeah, I think you need a little bit extra.
Yeah. You need to go really over the top here.
He's going to deviate and go for an extra lackey, but Evil Cable Rat is a pretty low value shadow step, all things considered, especially without Spear of the Shard.
Right. You're basically saying I just want one more lackey.
Yeah, which he gets to use a lackey this turn. That's the benefit. But even without using a lackey, he had a way to deal with Ziliax with just Vendetta. So his plan here is to save Vendetta so he can stick Heisper and Togwang on the board, Vendetta whatever Eddie plays, and then have tempo going into the turn where he's going to play his treasure. So that's it. That's his read here, that he thinks is the best, puts him in the best position moving forward. But low value shadow step.
Yeah, low value shadow step, and maybe PNC is taking like learning based off the fact that other rogues have gone for the value, and it hasn't worked out exactly the way they wanted it to.
It's about tempo. This matchup, we've talked about it so much over the past 2 days. It's not a control deck. It's a mid-range deck. When it comes down to it, you can get all the value in the world, but if you wait too long, you're going to die to bombs.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
It's one of the most frustrating feelings in Hearthstone period, which is dying with a handful of cards. You feel like you had so much more that you wanted to do that game, and largely part of the reason why I think control players have such a negative view of aggro players, because they die with a bunch of cards in their hand.
Look at all these cards I drew, and I still lost.
No, exactly. This, but unironically, TJ. All right, well, Heisper and Dogwoggle comes down.
Can even play the spell Charge to give his minion Rush. That joke will never get old.
No, it won't get old. I think actually using Charge in this spot is pretty good.
Yeah. It deactivates Vendetta, though. That's the problem.
You are correct. Therefore, I think I might hold on to it. The thing is, PNC wants to utilize cheap spells for Van Cleave, but he also doesn't want to give give extra card draw to Eddie.
Well, Wondrous One could pick up Burglar or Second Blink Fox.
Yeah, I think Parting Ways of Vendetta here is okay. You still get cheap cards to play, and it's just one less 2/2 buff on Edwin. Plus, by using Vendetta in this position, you still are invulnerable to Dynamatic.
Ah, yes. That is actually really important.
There's no point in Weapon Swing. He doesn't have any Waggle Pick. He's not that afraid of Harrison Jones, and the damage to the armor count doesn't affect Shield Slam, which one has already been used. Last pass to boom.
Whoa.
2 bombs.
Okay.
Or 2 boo bots, rather.
Yeah.
Wondrous Wand. PNC has an opportunity to get really far ahead now. That is big.
Oh my goodness.
Free Giants.
That is insane.
Yeah, he just discounted 10, 18, 21 mana to 0. Of course, Sea Giant could have been cheaper anyways.
Yeah. Even if you discount the board right now, even if he played all these minions, that's still like a 15 mana discount that he got from playing the Wondrous One.
PNC can trade and then get the damage onto the Blast Smash to boom, and then use the SI7 agent to clean up, and then pump the Van Cleef. My one feedback to PNC is start playing your cards. I just do not want to see him rope out. I did see that he was suffering a little bit of internet connection problems.
Rope's already burning.
Starting to get a little nervous,
now,
TJ.
He has very little time to react to what's happening.
Shark.
He does not have time. Okay.
Yes. SI Edwin.
SIC Giant Edwin? Or do you not want to
Giant Edwin.
Or do you not want to play into Brawl?
No, it's absolutely SIC Giant Edwin. Road ran out. He missed an extra buff, but it's still a 22-22. Oh my gosh.
And Eddie's dead.
There is 36, 38, 41 damage.
He can Weapons Project Harrison Jones pick up Shield Slam to Shield Slam the Sea Giant. And then he's alive.
Well, Eddie doesn't have that good answer like you're talking about, and the nice thing is PNC has been positioned around Super Collider too. Not that I think it would make the biggest of difference. The big question is, can he answer a huge Van Cleef? I don't think so. I think if the rope burns down and he's still not playing, I think he might end up just conceding here. He does have a brawl in his deck.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Harrison Weapons Project behind the Shield Slam for the Sea Giant.
That belongs in a museum.
And he's dead.
Yep, Leroy Jenkins going to be able to end the game here. PNC crushes game number 2 off the back of the Wondrous Wand and the amazing Van Cleef setup with Spear of the Shark. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, even if Eddie did find the Shield Slam, because PNC had Leroy plus the Spear of the Shark buffed SI7 agent, he was dead anyway.
Right.
So could have found it to maybe given himself some life in his mind, but we could see that lethal was there. And
the Geppetto Joy Buzz, man, coming in pretty big, getting it for 0 mana to help him cycle through and get sharks. It was pretty sick, and there's a lot of power with this deck. When you see that it works, obviously, right? Like, the idea is that we know that this deck has a lot of explosive power, just we haven't gotten to see it set up yet.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the Warrior is the one rushing it down and not giving it a chance. But the series is tied, and we'll see if Eddie can make any adaptations. I think a second brawl would have been very nice to have. So we'll see if Eddie switches from anything, or will history repeat itself? The answer is right after this.
So you're probably wondering why I gathered you here. Let me take a moment and break it down. We've been given black eyes by the good guys. Oh, but that's about to change. Those meddlesome mortals who've mocked up our missions will finally feel some of our pain. You see, I have a devious plan that requires a demonstrative fist, and each of you will have your dreams come true as a fiendish finger of peace. What? All right, let me try this again. Alone, all our dreams went. Kaboom! Yes, but united we'll take all the candles. No fish digging. I'm seeing what you want to do. Let me hear it. We'll come together so we can dismantle. Now here's the plot to capture your greed and intrigue. We'll take Dalaran for all that it's got. As we form an evil league.
My name is Francisco Frale Montas. One of my best friends came out with my nickname. We are all getting like nicknames with 3 letters for some reason, like 13 years old. My name is Francisco, and Francisco's called Pancho, so it's just like 3 letters from that, P and C. One interesting thing about me that most people don't know is that I used to study ancient history. I quit for Hearthstone a couple of years, but plan on going back at one point. My favorite Hearthstone Esports moment was when I topped like Lethal 2016 Copa America Finals. That was like my first big win, and I was very, very happy. It's like finally all that I worked for coming true. Beating Grandmasters for me means that all the hard work that I put in last years and all the time that I spent the game is paying off. My favorite thing about Grandmasters would be that I get a chance to prove myself like on the big stage. What makes me unique as a player, I would say, is just bringing very complicated decks to tournament, like mostly combo decks that people usually don't play. My personal goals this year will be to earn as much money as I can, of course, and yes, improve as a player and play the best I can.
Hearthstone Grandmasters continues on Super Sunday here on week number 3. Eddie up against PNC, both tied at 1 game apiece. A win here for Eddie means that he is in firm first place of Division A. PNC can make up some ground. He is in last place right now at 1-4. Eddie, we're talking about maybe having an opportunity to switch to his secondary deck if he really feels that he can 100% guarantee that PNC will be on his tertiary deck. Doesn't need Weapons Project, doesn't need Weapon Hate in general if there's no Waggle picks up against the Rogue. But, however, I don't see that being the case considering that he just drew Harrison Jones in his mulligan.
Yeah. Does find double Clockwork Goblin and Ziliac, so he's got the ability to fight for the board early, maybe put on some of that early pressure. PNC's opening hand here, I wonder if this is a 3-keep, just because you can play Novice Engineer, Shadow Step it, and then on 3, Novice Engineer, Evil Miscreant. It's a nice little head start in the value generation, and also just keeping his hand full and giving himself options. Might feel like he wants to look for like Edwin, Blink Fox, Hench Clan Burglar, some of the big stuff. But yeah, 3-keep it is. A very solid opening.
Absolutely. I think the Miscreant is super crucial for all the Rogue's game plans. A second Novice Engineer.
I hope you like my invention.
Well, more combo cards. Important thing is with the Heist Baron Togwaggle, he is rewarded with the Miscreant Keep.
Yep. Going to keep it on board because he can still evaluate, attack for 1, Shadow Step it next turn. Outside of Weapons Project, there's no way for Eddie to actually remove this Novice Engineer. There's no way he's ever going to coin Shield Slam it. So...
Yeah, PNC in a position where he can debate whether or not he wants to use Backstab or Shadow Step in this spot, and I think Shadow Step has just much more application versus Backstab. 2 Faceless Lackeys. Okay, it's nothing to write home about.
Yeah, not the ones you want to see. You're looking for Ethereal Lackey and even like Witchy Lackey, I feel like is really good in this matchup to consolidate your board space. You're not playing into Warpath. You can get out of range of Dynamatics a lot easier. Kobold Lackey can be really good, especially if you're like accruing burst damage in your hand to couple with Spirit of the Shark. That can be good. But gets to try again. Wow.
4 of a kind. That means he wins, right?
Well, if he gets the 5th one, that means he broke the rules of card games. Let's see it. Oh, I mean, that's a good one, but oh.
Wow, I guess you might as well just start playing these lackeys. Getting decent stats out there. Part of the thing is people are often disappointed by the 2 mana minions, but you're getting 3/3 of stats for 2 mana, or 1 mana rather. I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Faceless Lackey always feels like one of the more fair lackeys out there. I feel like sometimes the Ethereal Peddler, or sorry, I keep calling it Peddler, the Ethereal Lackey and the Cobalt Lackey is just like, wow, this is just so sick.
It's very good.
And then like the Goblin Lackey, when it has high impact, it's like, wow, that just is ridiculous. And Faceless Lackey, you're like, all right, I see you.
I get it, Dan. You really miss Ethereal Peddler. It's one of my favorite cards of all time.
Is it? Do you even know what it does?
It's a 2-mana Warlock card that discovers a 1-mana spell.
Wait, what?
Wait, wasn't that what it was?
Is it? Now I'm like starting to really question myself. I thought Ethereal Peddler was a 5-mana 5/6.
Something Peddler.
From Rogue.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking of, what's the other Peddler?
Dark Peddler?
Dark Peddler. I'm thinking of Dark Peddler. What the heck? I'm getting the thing that you're getting wrong. Yeah, that's a Dark Peddler.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cards of all time. Ethereal Peddler, that card sucks.
It's a 5-mana 5/6 Rogue card that discounts cards from other classes by 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, Dan. Well, Ethereal Peddler is one of my least favorite cards of all time. Dark Peddler is one of my favorite cards of all time.
I'm glad we resolved this. PNC, his plays are fairly limited. It's faceless lackeys or draw cards of some capacity. Doesn't really have anything significant here. In fact, anything he plays is loading up for really powerful Dynamatic. And I think PNC's main concern is can he land a very nice high spare and Togwaggle. So he wants the most amount of life on the board. But if he plays another faceless lackey, gets another one health minion. Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That stops the Dynamatic from having maximum effect.
Yeah, and also gives him a really good chance, even if Dynamatic comes down, to play High Spare and Togwaggle next turn. Did he miss a damage?
He missed the damage. Come on, PNC. Play a little faster. I know that he's thinking about stuff. He missed the damage and he missed an equip with the weapon.
Small chance that he didn't want to equip a weapon.
It's a small chance, but I think he is very much okay with the Harrison in this position because he gets to keep his board.
All right, looking for 4 lackey hits.
Oh! The spray and pray, a little preview of Modern Warfare later this fall. At least how TJ and I will be playing it. Hench Clan Burglar picked up, which means the Vendetta will be active. I know you don't play Call of Duty, TJ. I'm just chugging along right here in our commentary. No High Spare and Togwaggle build for PNC, but he does have the Faceless Lacking for the following turn, so this is an opportunity for him to set up a board preemptively for it.
Dan, I am employed by Activision Blizzard. I love Call of Duty. My absolute favorite shooter game, right after Overwatch.
It's 1A and 1B.
Yes.
Counterspell, potentially very disruptive.
Yep. Maybe set up a wide board, stop a brawl, maybe set up a big minion, stop a shield slam.
And I really hope that Modern Warfare is good. That was definitely my favorite Call of Duty pick.
I actually did play Modern Warfare a good amount.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we should jam.
For the Xbox. I wasn't very good.
Yeah, me neither.
Makes it even better.
Yeah, why do you think I became a caster? I first tried to play competitive shooting games like Call of Duty back in the day.
I used to be a competitive League of Legends player. I was good at that game.
Yeah, well. What's done is done, TJ.
My lifetime earnings was like $125 now.
Wow, I think that qualifies you for the Hearthstone semi-pro scene.
Eddie, very far behind. No Blastmaster Boom to try and pull him out. No Boom in general. Except for the 3 bombs in PNC's deck.
Yeah, the Ziliax in this spot seems eh. So I think Eddie's equipping the Super Collider. Just better invested for the future.
Yep.
But, here's... But I mean, PNC was waiting for the High Spear and Togwaggle play, and Eddie, Eddie knows that there's one more lackey in the hand, so he was prepared for this scenario. That said, this Harrison seems pretty close to ideal.
I wonder.
And the nice thing is that Harrison isn't just a value, it's also tempo, because you're establishing a 5-4 on the board. Eddie is just like, oh my gosh. Bomb doesn't really matter here because PNC is not really challenged, but he doesn't draw cheap cards. Eddie is not looking good right here.
Nope. He can Weapons Project double Shield Slam. You can Weapons Project Shield Slam once, value trade with Militia Commander. Everything he does kind of sets up for Clockwork Goblin plus Ziliax on the following turn, which is a nice burst of life.
Yeah, I think the Weapons Project seems as a solid option. I think the Militia Commander is also passable here. Oh, it's just so ugly no matter how you cut it. And I do want to save one Shield Slam if I'm Eddie. So if I play Weapons Project Shield Slam, I most likely will Militia Commander the 4/3 down.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing here for Eddie. If he goes for a Bench Caliber, he's just willingly taking on more damage at this point. Oh, wow. He's saying, I don't care that you're going to hurt more. I'm going to be more aggressive. And he's making room for Ziliax plus Clockwork Goblin to have higher health. Give him bigger health rebound.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, he could easily die. 5, 6, 12 with the Leroy. 14 with the SI7 agent. That's so close to death. I mean, if PNC gets Faceless Lackey, could he end the game in some capacity?
I don't think so. Direwolf Alpha or Bluegill Warrior are the 2 damage lackeys.
What about the Serpent Totem? Deals 2 damage at the end of your turn to your enemy hero.
It is a 2 damage lackey.
Swiftly.
If I'm PNC, I'm setting up a 2-turn lethal one way or the other. Harrison's hitting face. Faceless Lackey sets up a big Edwin or the Togwaggle scheme. Or not scheme, but Togwaggle.
You like my invention?
Oh, interesting. Counterspell. That makes sense.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
But it actually plays directly into... Wait! Did PNC miss a damage early this game? He should have had lethal already.
He did miss a damage earlier this game.
Oh my gosh.
If he loses...
If he loses from this spot, he has no one to blame but himself, unfortunately.
Yep. Missed an attack with a lackey right before the dynamatic turn.
Right. Or even equipping a weapon and just attacking there.
Or equipping a weapon. He missed 2 damage, actually.
Now.
Fair enough.
No, the weapon miss was last game, I think.
Oh, was it?
Maybe not.
It was. I thought it was this game, but
No, yeah, you're right.
could be right.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Checking for splitting image.
Right. Says that's not. Then it's going to be the mirror entity check with the Clockwork Goblin. Clockwork Goblin plus Ziliax equals 6 attack. It lines up beautifully, but will it be enough for him to survive?
All right.
Van Cleave goes down. And PNC doesn't have the clean way to get past it. Bomb being drawn. I mean, he does have a clean way to trade into it, but he doesn't have a way to remove it without giving more life to Eddie right now.
Yep.
Unless Blink Fox can change things.
And Dan, no more lackey.
No more lackey for Heistbear and Togwaggle. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. This has potential to just completely blow up in PNC's face if he doesn't find ideal removal in this position.
Yeah. Now, a lot of things can happen with Blink Fox.
Yes, Blink Fox can give PNC an opportunity to remove Eddie's minion pretty efficiently, but there's not that many cards actually.
Yeah, he could get like Execute to keep his Harrison Jones alive. He can get Devastate to keep his Harrison Jones alive. Dynamatic, not good. But is able to land a Sea Giant, and Eddie.
That's good. Eddie's been saving his shield slams for this position, although the counter spell threat is very annoying.
Might have to throw away a Mega Assembly, and
I think so.
Does it right away. All right. Weapons Project, Armor Up, Shield Slam.
Yep. Shield Slam's the other threat and knows that Van Cleave's already been used.
He's setting up for Blastmaster Boom. He's trying to have as clear a board as possible.
That's right.
Oh no.
Another bomb drawn.
There's only 1 bomb left. So Blastmaster Boom.
Dynamatic Ziliax. Look at me. I'm the bomb warrior now. PNC has so many cards that just need something else, right? He has combo activators or combo dependent cards like SI7 Agent Raiding Party. He has Leroy as a finisher. He has Heistbear and Togwall without a lackey. He has Barista without any Battlecry minions on the board. He had opportunities to collect value on any of these things for the past few turns, but because he was choosing to just go out all aggressive against Eddie, who's now back at 26, who was flirting with disaster at single-digit life the previous couple turns, now PNC has to start back from scratch. And so this Dynamatic Zilliax is a cool play, but if it gets removed efficiently in some capacity, like the Mega Devastator, like PNC doesn't really have a good way to strike back.
Yeah.
Eddie has the Militia Commander, so he could Warpath twice, and then a Militia Commander, because with the 4 health from the Dynamatic, 2 health from the Zilliax, that is 6 life.
What now?
The big problem is Eddie does not have card draw source, and he only has 1 Bomb Shuffle in the deck.
He's already played his only copy of Acolyte of Pain.
Right. Oh my. Oh, there's 2 bombs in the deck.
Oh, what? I miscounted. 2 Wrench Caliber swings, 2 Clockwork Goblins. Oh no, he played both Wrench Calibers, that's right.
Turnium Rover comes down. PNC looks like he's reconnected, but his mouse is still hovering over Barista Lynchin.
Yeah, there we go.
Examining the waifu closely. Spear the Shark drawn. What can he do with that? He can get 2 Dynamatics in his hand. That's funny. Spear the Shark, SI7 Agent, Spear the Shark, Togwaggle. There's nothing clean here.
Think.
And Spirit, like, Dynamatic is not very good against Warriors, so that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay against this board, but I think this Dynamatic wants to go into this Dr. Boom. It's just such an efficient trade. A 6-3 into a 7-6. Also brings it back up to 18. Eddie's kind of running out of bomb cards. I don't even know if he has any left.
He's running out of cards, period.
Yeah, I mean, he still has Dr. Boom and Genius in his deck. He still has Geppetto Joy Buzz. He still has another Dynamatic. He still has Brawl, Omega Devastator, another Omega Assembly. He's got a lot of high-value cards left.
This guy's
Oh my goodness. This is an aggressive play. He's going for gold, taking the damage and utilizing the lifesteal on the Zilliax Dynamatic combination with the Warpath drawn. Eddie with the direct punish onto PNC's aggressive play. It did not pan out the way that he wanted. That being said, Eddie still has to figure out the problem of how he closes out this game, but he's still fairly close. Now there's a fighting chance because Militia Commander and the Weapons Project will get a PNC down to 5 life, a single bomb drawn. Oh, he's holding up the Militia Commander.
Yeah, he has 2 bombs left in the deck, and the only life gain source PNC has left is a single copy of Life Drinker. He used Zilliax. He cut 1 Life Drinker to his tertiary deck to make room for this greedy stuff. So now there's no Warpaths left, but there is a Dynamatic. So this Spear of the Shark is not 100% safe. And just gonna play Barista Lynchin as a 4/5.
Just trying to get some semblance of tempo here. Eddie has an opportunity to Militia Commander the Barista down.
Defend the gates.
You're absolutely swinging at the face here. Tense stuff. If I'm PNC, I'm afraid to draw cards as well. Lackey, Evil Rat.
Oh, now can get the Lackey and the double treasure from Heisper and Togwaggle.
Double Ethereal Lackey possibilities here too. Maybe PNC can find a way to get like Shadow Steps for Leroy to end the game.
Eddie's still very healthy.
Nothing.
Daring Escape.
Daring Escape is like a Shadow Step for Leroy, but you can't play it the following turn.
Yeah, but it's also just a ton of value. I mean, he's getting 2 treasures this turn. I think he's kind of in a position where he has to go Xerox Crown because of the fact that he just doesn't have enough life gain left. With 2 bombs left in his deck, Wondrous Wand could just kill him.
Yeah, I think getting removal is good. I do think that also having a Daring Escape gives you like a chance to end the game if your opponent somehow locks you out with like a taunt minion. I also don't mind a golden Kobold.
Yeah, I honestly don't either. But double Xerox Crown it is.
Oh.
Don't disagree with this either. I think the liability of Wonder Swan is too high. Even gonna just develop a full board here.
Omega Assembly. That's a good card for Eddie. Omega Devastator.
Oh, wow.
So now he can shut down both PNC's highest attack minion and also the Spear of the Shark. He can Omega Devastator and Steel Rager. He doesn't have the rush though. That's the big thing. Had he had rush, he'd be able to take down everything. I think you definitely want to attack face with this too once that a single bomb drawn ends the game.
Yep.
Now there's 2 bombs in the deck. There's a 1 in 6 chance for PNC to potentially die. So around 16 to 17 games out of 100.
Yeah, and
PNC will die next turn.
And you can sense that PNC will go for Xerox Crown because of the possibility of bombs.
Right, he doesn't want a 1-1.
Yeah, so you don't want to use the Brawl here because you know that there's going to be multiple legendaries that are summoned next turn. There's a chance that he doesn't even want to Omega Devastator here for the same reason, because next turn he can Brawl Omega Devastator.
Ah, I like it. Brawl of the Mega Devastator solved the board state. That's really good restraint here from Eddie. PNC picks up a Life Drinker. That's a big draw.
It is a very big draw because that makes it a 2-bomb breakpoint. Now, he doesn't get the Spear of the Shark value from the Life Drinker. He doesn't have any sharks left. So he still has 2 bombs left in his deck. So he still can't get above, outside of Xerox Crown, he still can't get above that 10 life. Could pick up like Zilliax from the Xerox Crown to really just solidify his spot in this game. I don't even know if Eddie would have a win condition at that point because he's so far behind on resources. He's used both Omega Assemblies, he's used Blastmaster Boom, he's used I think all or most of his bomb cards.
The Xerox Crown can also pick up high impact. Well, those are low impact cards. The extra Togwaggles is just good stats though. So you want to train this extra 1/1 for more Xerox Crown? He'd be all in at that point.
Yeah, I think even though there's 1 copy of Brawl in Eddie's deck, I think you want to have the reload in case the Brawl comes out. Though he is running out of time.
Brawl Dynamatic.
Okay.
That's even better.
Yes, it is. We'll take care of anything that survives on this board.
PNC can answer it with Walk the Plank, Xerox Crown. Backstab's not going to do anything here. He's going to Xerox Crown first. Cairn Bluff. That hurts. The Walk the Plank pays off. Nice thing is Eddie still has time, you know?
Not much time.
Not much time, but he still has a little bit of time. Shield block.
Okay, that buys more time.
Another shield block.
Shield block again. I think you need to look for Dr. Boom. There's a chance that, so Omega Devastator does build up that board tension. So it forces PNC to trade. Is there anything? Oh, there's a Militia Commander left. 6 cards remaining.
And he went back to 30 life. That's another turn.
Dodging bombs left and right. Oh, this is getting tense, Dan.
Are there pirates for PNC to draw? There's a Waggle pick.
There's no Waggle pick.
No Waggle.
I think there's still a Hench Clan Burglar.
Okay.
That's it.
Because of the cost, though, you can't play it.
I don't know if he wants to draw.
Right, he draws, he gets closer to the potential that he dies with bombs. And right now, with 9 cards remaining, with 2 of them being bombs, it's a scary proposition to thin your deck even more.
Yeah, so he has 7 turns if both bombs are the last cards in his deck. Or if 1 bomb is the last card in his deck.
Yeah, if Eddie had time, he has inevitability on his side, but if not, he has to hope that PNC draws the bombs first. He's going to go for the Leroy now?
Leroy plus SI7 agent can clear up everything from the board.
This guy's toast.
Oh, TJ. This is getting real scary here.
Whoo!
And Eddie has the Militia Commander Omega Devastator to answer it. Did PNC use both his Shadow Steps?
He used both Shadow Steps.
Geppetto Joy Buzz!
I don't even... Is there any minions left?
I don't know, but he needs anything to generate resources.
I think there's an Elec left.
Plus, it's a 6/6. And now, PNC has to trade into these minions, maybe? Because he doesn't want to take a single bomb hit to lose? But if he does, he doesn't have the clock. He has his own Geppetto Joy Buzz. He can draw 2 cards, but again, he's playing with fire. However, the Geppetto Joy Buzz might give him the answer to tempo Eddie out of the game. I think he has to go for it.
Woo! So Hench Clan Burglar, Grawl the Shark.
Oh, man.
Blink Fox.
Blink Fox is a good start. Maybe it picks you up something useful. A Devastate? Battle Rage. Oh, that's a really bad one.
Yep.
Oh, no. No matter how PNC does this, I forgot about the 5th health here. Like, the 4/5 doesn't cleanly kill it. He's going to die to a bomb regardless. So now I think PNC instead has to all in. He has to attack face with everything because he's going to die to a bomb regardless. He can't clear everything.
And I'm pretty sure both range calibers have been used. I don't think there's a point of damage. He could play around Dr. Boom Mad Genius into Zap or...
Okay, so you kill the Militia Commander to reduce the Kaboom out.
To reduce the Kaboom out. But I don't think you can sink both of these attacks into the Omega Devastator because you have 14, 15, 16 damage on board. You're not setting up a lethal.
Oh.
So Dr. Boom Mad Genius into Zap or Kaboom. A bomb, on the other hand.
So there's 2 cards out of 6 that have a bomb. PNC does not want to draw, like, have the Grawl eat a minion in the deck. He can draw 2 cards with Geppetto Joy Buzz if he has the minions.
I think he only has an augmented Elec.
What now?
Harrison will eat up a weapon.
Wait, does he have an Omega Devastator?
No, he drew one already. He played one already.
That wasn't from Omega Assembly?
I think so. They got counterspelled.
Okay, he had a town card left as well.
So if he trades into this Geppetto Joy Buzz, there's 10 damage showing, and he has 11 health. But he's not getting the bomb lethal. In this position, Eddie has one choice. He has to try and go for the 2 out of 6 bombs.
Or he can buy one more turn.
Or he can buy another turn, but what if PNC draws a single point of damage?
I don't know if he has a single point of damage. This attack doesn't matter because
the attack, this armor up does not matter. It comes down to
he's
the
roping
rope.
it out. 1 and 3. Oh my goodness.
And the moment of truth.
No bomb.
PNC barely survives by the hair of his chinny chin chin.
And Dan, that 1 point of damage.
Wow.
1 point of damage made that game come down to a 1 and 3. And this 1 damage in the early game was 1 damage off lethal at some point in the game. Eddie stabilized and brought it down to a 1 and 3.
Yeah, if my memory serves correctly, it could be the previous game.
No, it wasn't.
All right. That was a roller coaster of emotion.
Woohoo!
Wow. All right. Well, PNC able to withstand the PC issues. P-no-C. And more importantly, gets a win against the division leader. So now Eddie was at 4-1, but he's at 4-2 now, and very tightly contested back and forth. And what a world of difference it would be if Eddie was at 5-1. It just puts himself in prime position for playoffs. But now the division opens up again.
Yeah.
And if Strife Grow goes down to Frozen, we have more equalization in the division.
Yeah. And PNC, kind of a much-needed win for him right now. He was at 1 and 4 in the standings.
Yep, at the very bottom.
Yeah, coming off a loss earlier on this weekend. It was pretty much do or die for him. 1 and 5 is not really a start that you can expect to make playoffs, even if you win out from this point on, because his final record, if he won out from 1 and 5, would be 9 and 5.
It's close.
Now he has a chance to go 10 and 4, which is definitely a playoff contention spot.
I think that almost guarantees you playoffs.
Almost, yeah. It depends how the rest of the division shapes out. There's a potential that like everybody in the entire division ends 7-7. So,
well, 10-4 definitely gets it.
Then 10-4 definitely would get it.
PNC has joined us with a couple of words on his victory. PNC, you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, hope your internet can hold out just for a couple of minutes here. So that win back and forth, that was pretty close. How are you feeling about that match?
Yeah, I have no idea what happened in the match. Like, I was lagging very hard in the game, so I couldn't really like complete all my turns, and I needed to think, and I couldn't roll because I knew it was maybe I was lagging on my turn, and when I picked the raiding party, that was like the worst one.
Yeah, it was like that card
I
was
was
useful.
like the animation it wasn't like coming, and so I was like spamming like click 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 click, and I clicked the raiding party by mistake. It was
Yeah, we've been there. We've been there. That's frustrating, but you're able to get the win, which was fairly important. Did you? How confident do you feel against this rogue deck? You were the first person to be able to beat the warrior with this deck list, in particular with the Barista, Grawl, and Geppetto. Do you like it against the warriors?
Well, it seems better than the other rogues against warrior. Like if you don't play Myras, they can. Sometimes the warrior forces you to draw with Myras, and you have to go all in and hope they don't kill you with bombs. But now we have like more minions, and I can pressure the warrior, and it's just yeah.
Okay. TJ, anything for PNC here?
How do you feel about this kind of the version that you brought with Barista Lynchin, with Grawl the Shark, and Geppetto over, say, the Togwaggle scheme, like sprint variation of the deck? What do you feel is the difference between those two, and which one do you think has the better game against Warrior?
Well, I think the one I brought better. Like the dog scheme, it only seems good when you land it on dog, and a lot of times that doesn't happen, and you need to get it early as well. So I don't like Barista that much, honestly. Like maybe for next week I'll probably, if I bring Row again, maybe change it. But yeah, Geppetto's been really good.
I don't know, man. She came down as a 5-mana 4/5 in that game. Great card to me.
Yeah, that game just.
No worries.
But the worst thing is that like we're allowed to use the tracker for the tournament, and like when I was like during the game, I didn't really keep track of everything because I had the deck tracker to do that for me, so I could focus on the game. And when I disconnected, like I lost, like the deck tracker was bugged, so I didn't know how many bombs he had, or I couldn't even see the HP that he had. It was insane.
Oh yeah,
wow.
I've had that when I reconnect and you can't really keep track. But
yeah,
maybe one thing has to change then. Either you have to pay close attention the entire time, or you have to improve your internet connection.
I'll play from some. Like I'll find another place to play next week because it's
right.
getting very annoying. Like it happened to me 2 weeks in a row, so.
Yeah, definitely got to improve your atmosphere. But anyways, congratulations on your victory, PNC, and we'll see you back next week.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so hopefully we can fix those internet issues, but thankfully able to get over the hump here.
Overcoming adversity, Dan.
Yeah, making the division a little more contentious, which is exciting to see.
Yeah, very exciting to see. And always cool to see this greedy rogue deck in action and finally taking a win as well.
Took a while.
You can kind of see the pieces starting to come together with the deck and what makes it work and why it can be good, even with Barista Lynchin not getting full value. So, Geppetto Joy Buzz. When it's 0 mana, it's very good.
It turns out 0 mana cards are very powerful in a card game like Hearthstone. So that's going to be our second match. We have another one coming up next year here for match number 3. We have Dog from Team Liquid going up against Fade to Karma's ETC for a fight for the top of their division. Don't go anywhere. More Hearthstone Grandmasters actions on Super Sunday when we return.